This appliance promises to solve the battle for kitchen worktop space by doing the job of an air fryer, a microwave, a grill and a convection oven in one. Combi ovens were designed for commercial kitchens because they are so versatile. But do they work in a family home? In this video, I'll tell you about its huge range of functions, show you cooking results, and tell you everything you need to know before you make up your mind whether you want to buy one. This is the Sage Combi Wave, otherwise known as the Breville Combi Wave if you're outside the UK. It can cook a lot of different foods: cookies, fries, vegetables, meat, fish, popcorn, toast and rice. But because it has so many options, shortcuts, menus and sub-menus, it's a little bit overwhelming initially. So I've read the instruction book so that you don't need to, and I've broken this video up into chapters so you can easily skip around and find the information that you want. To start with, let's take a look at the appliance. First of all, in the box you will receive a turntable roller which you insert into the base of the oven cavity and a glass turntable that rests on top of it. Put them in once when you get the appliance and then leave them there. Also included is a Combi crisp pan with a non-stick coating and collapsible legs and a stainless steel trivet. You use these different accessories for the 5 different cooking functions on the Combi. On the right of the oven there's a big display which shows all of the cooking information about the cooking program you're using and prompts you with which accessories to use. Now I'm going to show you the results of cooking in this oven along with some really useful features on this appliance, but before I do that I want to thank the sponsors of this video who are Hearts of Stir in partnership with Shop Through. Shop Through gives creators like me interactive, transactable showcase pages. That means when I talk about a product, like something from Hearts of Stir for example, you don't need to go digging through different websites trying to find it. You can simply buy it directly from the retailer, but without having to leave my showcase page. No long checkout journeys, no messing around. Because you're buying straight from the retailer, it's totally secure. And the best bit, any specialist discounts are applied automatically. So not only is it super simple, you're also getting a great deal. You can find a link to this product via Shop Through at Hearts of Stir in the description. And if you're a YouTuber, there are also details of how you can partner with Shop Through too. One of the features that I love is that it glows blue when it's on standby and orange when it's in the cooking cycle, which is really useful if you've got lots going on in a busy kitchen because you can just glance across the room and see instantly if it's running or not. There are also 6 buttons and 2 large dials which are for selecting options and for starting and stopping the programs. On that panel of buttons beneath the display, the button top left is Fast Combi, which alternates between microwave, convection oven and grill to cook really quickly. And it's designed to cook food faster than a conventional oven. If you're using this setting, you place food on the Combi pan with the legs folded and then you adjust time and temperature according to the recipe using the dials. The next button is From Frozen, which is a 2-stage cooking program for fish and meat, which starts by using microwave to thaw the meat out and then switches to combi cooking using a combination of oven, grill and microwave. When you're setting up to cook, there's a sub-menu to choose your meat type and weight, and the program will adjust the time accordingly. The third option is air fry, which is designed for food where you want it to be crispy and golden, like fries or fish fingers. You can set the temperature to between 200 and 230 Celsius. On this program, there is a short preheat cycle and use the Combi pan in the higher position with the legs folded out. Now for the best results, you should have that Combi pan in the oven while the preheating cycle is running so that it gets hot too. But I found that sometimes it's just easier to set the food out on the Combi pan while the preheat cycle is running and then put it in once the oven is warm. The fourth option is oven, which works like a normal convection oven. You can adjust the time and temperature using the two large dials, and it's advised that you use the trivet to cook your food on. Next is microwave, which works just like a regular microwave, except that on this appliance it is an inverter microwave. They are much better for energy efficiency and they deliver constant power, which means more even cooking and no hot spots. And a great time saver with this microwave is that when you press the microwave button, it automatically sets up for 30 seconds at 100% power, and then you just hit the start button. And then the last button is the food menu, which has 3 sub-menus for cooking, reheating and defrosting. Under each of these are smart presets for different food types, which you can set to the quantity or weight of your food, and then Sage's Sensor IQ technology detects the amount of steam released during cooking and automatically adjusts power to precisely cook or reheat dishes. So back to the main panel of the Combi Wave, and there are 2 small buttons next to the dials. The top one is a button which I think every air fryer and microwave should have because it is so useful. It's called a bit more, and just like it sounds, when you get to the end of a cooking cycle and you look at your food and think, oh, it just needs a bit more, you can hit that button and it will restart the previous cooking program with the same settings for a short period of time, which you can increase if you want by turning the dial. So it is incredibly useful. Then next to the lower dial is a small button which turns the turntable rotation off, and that's a bit of a niche thing, but it's useful if you have, for instance, a large square dish that's too large to turn in the microwave, because in theory, with this being an inverter microwave, rotating the food shouldn't be as important because you shouldn't get hot spots. Now the door on the oven is soft close, so it's smooth to shut and not loud and clunky, a bit like a soft close loo seat. When you open it, there is a shortcuts panel hidden inside the door frame with some really useful features. First is something that I think is another thing I'm amazed I haven't seen on air fryers yet. It's a customizable preset button. So if there's something you do an awful lot, you can set up the exact cooking requirements of that thing and then press and hold the heart button and it will save as a preset. And next time you just press the heart button once and it will all be set up as it was before. Then you have the child lock, which locks the interface so that all the buttons are disabled while the cooking program is running. Next, there's a button which allows you to easily switch between metric and imperial measurements. Then there's the control to set the clock. Beneath that are a range of quick start menu options. There's a grill which you can use for toast, although it's not as fast as a toaster and you do have to turn your piece of toast halfway through. There's a keep warm button, which will keep food at 70 Celsius for up to 2 hours. The melt chocolate button melts chocolate without it burning. And there's also a preset which will soften butter and bring fridge temperature butter to room temperature. And then finally, there is a popcorn button for commercially packaged microwave popcorn packs. At the very bottom of this menu are sound controls. A common complaint with appliances that I always hear is that the beeps are irritating, and this appliance has the most sound control I have come across yet. Not only can you choose the volume of the sound that it makes, you can also choose between 2 types of sounds, and if you want, you can mute it entirely and just rely on the display to tell you when it's done, which of course is where that orange and blue backlight becomes really, really useful. So here's a rundown of what we cooked in the Combi Wave and what the results were like. Now, I didn't do a whole chicken in this, but at least one other person on YouTube has, and I'll link to their video below. I did cook a fresh chicken breast using the presets. One breast weighs less than the minimum weight that you can set the preset for, but it didn't make a huge difference to cooking time. I let the program run and the breast was only slightly over that 74 Celsius that you aim for at the end and was still very juicy. We also tried frozen chips on the preset using 200 grams, weighed exactly to match the screen guidance, and the results were great. You can even hear the crunch as my son bites into one. Frozen salmon also worked well on the From Frozen preset. The salmon was moist, flaky, evenly cooked, everything that you would want. The cookie preset produced good results with homemade cookie batter, although you will obviously have to do half a batch at a time because you have a limited surface area to cook them on when you're using the Combi Crisp pan. We did do a cheap shop-bought pizza, which was okay but not amazing, but that's probably more of a reflection on the pizza than it necessarily was on the oven. The softened butter preset is absolutely perfect. I did 120 grams and it took just over a minute and absolutely nailed the consistency. Soft but not liquid. Microwaving frozen things like bagels was really quick with great results. Toasting is slow and you probably wouldn't want to do it every day on the grill, but it is useful to have it as an extra option. And we also tried the popcorn preset, which is specifically made for commercially packaged microwave popcorn, and it did a great job. So my conclusions on the Combi Wave. The way I see it, if you buy this as a replacement for a microwave, there is a strong chance that you're going to be very happy because it's a really great microwave, plus it does a lot of other things well. And it's extremely versatile because you can use it as an overflow when you're cooking for lots of people. If you were to buy it as a replacement for an air fryer, having had an air fryer for a while, I think that there is a danger that you might be disappointed because you don't have a huge amount of cooking space, you can't shake your food easily, and it does take a little bit longer, partly because it's just a bigger space to heat. Now, size of this thing is tricky. It weighs 15.4 kilograms and it takes up most of the depth of a standard worktop. The manufacturers advise against it being built into a kitchen, although I have seen someone on another channel who has done that in an RV with vents built around it. They say that it needs 20 centimetres clearance in every direction to allow for air circulation, which, if you follow that guidance to the letter, is actually quite hard to achieve in a standard kitchen. One solution is to stick it in the corner of a kitchen where you have extra worktop depth and enough space behind it. In my dream kitchen setup, which I don't yet own, I would choose to have a microwave tucked away in a utility room. And if I had that kind of setup, I would pick this over a normal microwave all day long because of its extra functions. Now, one other niggle with this is when you use a program with preheat, when it comes to temperature, it pings to tell you it's at temperature, but it doesn't pause and wait for you to add food. It just carries straight on into the cooking part of the program, and I did miss putting food in at the right moment on several occasions. So to wrap it all up, I think for an appliance that is trying to do everything and is largely succeeding, it's a strong 8 out of 10. I love the stainless steel appearance and I love the bit more button, and the chocolate and butter presets are incredibly useful as well. Now, just a reminder, if there is an appliance that you're curious about and you want to see me review, you can help me choose an appliance every month by becoming a channel member or supporting on Patreon. Details of that are in the description. And if you'd like to buy this Sage Combi oven and support this channel, just click on my shop through link in the description. My exclusive discounts will be applied automatically without you having to leave my showcase page, so you'll get a great deal without doing a thing.